Actually, I think it was last summer, if I remember correctly. It was whatever the Pride event was. When? It was not this June, but the previous June.
Two Prides ago with Debbie.
Yeah, so there was a horrible accident.
It was an incident.
When some people thought it was a terror attack, but there was a member of the LGBTQ Pride parade who was one of the drivers who was literally inebriated beyond comprehension. Lost control of the truck and ran over I think multiple people, and one of the people that got ran over ended up getting killed. And the way that it was portrayed in the media was specifically at the behest of Wasserman Schultz, because it just so happens that this truck was very close to her float that she was on, and she actually thought that somebody was trying to kill her.
Right. She actually thought it was about her. So first of all, stepping aside from the complete narcissism of that, like you're in a pride parade, there's a car coming sort of out of control and swerving into people. And your first instinct is it's about you, but not just that it's about you, but that somebody's trying to kill you. You know, it's like, she at least has the self-awareness that she's very disliked, okay? Because if your first thought is, I'm at a parade, there's a car accident, it must be someone trying to kill me, you have at least the awareness that people don't like you. So I almost kind of want to give her props for that. But the level of just narcissism that it's about her. But no, it turns out that in fact, it was not an assassination attempt against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and it was not a terrorist attack. It was but a drunk driver and a horrible accident. But yeah. Her first thought was somebody's trying to kill me.
We have seen time and again that the elected representatives of our country do not represent us. They represent their corporate special interests. It is no more obvious than with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is our representative, and has taken the third most amount of money in all of the Democratic House. I don't believe it's the entire House. I have to check that. But the idea that you're a congresswoman representing one House district out of 435, and you've taken over $600,000 from AIPAC alone, that's not even including ADL. That's not even including DMFI. I mean, that's pretty sick. And the only people that have taken one is obvious. The one person who's ahead of her is Josh Gottheimer, who is a Republican. I mean, let's be honest, that's what he is. He represents a very affluent district in North Jersey, just outside Manhattan, New York City. And another gentleman, I think his first name's Brad Schneider, and he represents an affluent area just outside of Chicago. So
she's in good company. And of course, I saw Moskowitz was, of course, on the list.
Sure. But he hasn't been around long enough to accumulate as much money.
But he's working his way fast.
Correct.
He's gonna milk that job for all it's worth before somebody gets him out of there.
There was a great photo on the steps of Capitol today. Colin, if you can find it, it's a picture of the 13 or 14 House members that were holding up the sign with Rashida saying ceasefire now. There's
the fact that there's that few of them is
it's terrible. Ro Khanna, looking at you, buddy.
I'm looking at so many. Like, honestly, this is not going to age well if you are not on that side. It's just not going to.
No, and hats off to Barbara Lee, who is running for the U.S. Senate, and is especially in California, where there are very affluent Jewish communities.
Yes.
And a number of them probably are not going to think very highly of her doing this. But you know what? If it's a political calculation, so be it. The majority of the affluent Jewish vote in the state of California will go to Adam Schiff. And so from Barbara's perspective, maybe this is just doing the right thing with a certain degree of political convenience attached to it. But whatever it is, at least she is doing it. And at least there are others that are out there that are saying we must have a ceasefire now.
They're all like, I feel like all of these people are like one step forward, two steps back. So like she does something like this, but then it wasn't that long ago that she was sort of like defending the Clinton Foundation. So it's just kind of frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like nobody can just have their morals straight.
Max is resetting his internet. He'll be here shortly. So we need you guys to understand that part of the reason that this is happening, Rashida gets censored, and she gets censored by, I think the vote's like 221, I want to
It's
say.
all
Or 222.
Republicans and 22 Democrats.
Which means that you needed at least 7 or 8 Democrats. Or,
no, there's a handful of Republicans that voted against it because Thomas Massey
and of course,
did.
Thomas Massey, who I've maintained is the best Republican in all of Congress.
I think it's like a little bit of a fan thing.
I like him because I like that he's principled. He's one of the very few people who isn't bought by the system and actually votes the right way on a number of key issues. Now, of course, he votes the wrong way on other ones.
The majority, all but like a handful of Republicans and 22 Democrats. There are, I'm happy to say that it is not all the Jews.
Correct.
There are some that did not participate in that, but they're not being loud enough on,
But just remember, because of that, you needed at least a dozen Democrats to cross the aisle and vote to censure this woman. And whether anybody wants to admit it or not, bless you, there is no question that the two biggest culprits that were out there ensuring that this was done was Josh Gottheimer and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. There is no doubt whatsoever, and there shouldn't be by anybody's account, because we know that they are front and center on this issue. Now, why are they front and center on this issue?
Now, could it be? I mean, look, I think you can't deny the link to over 600 grand from AIPAC and whatever. Like, you can't deny the link to the influence in that. But I also think that there is a psychotic belief in what it is to some extent. I don't know how much with Debbie is she genuinely believes in the ethno-state to the extent that it's okay with her to ethno-cleanse. I don't know that. I don't know that she believes that, or she just doesn't care and AIPAC
I don't think
her.
she doesn't care. I don't think she cares, and I think she gleefully takes the money.
Well, that's what no, but she very well could also be a Zionist. I don't know. I don't know whether
I think Debbie's a Zionist.
Well, again, I don't know what her personal position is. But she definitely takes a ton of money.
I'm going to prove a point, and I'm going to prove to you why she is a Zionist. Colin, grab that clip from CNN where Debbie was interviewed on the Capitol steps. I want to say it was like yesterday or today, where she...
Where's Maxwell?
He's not there.
Clearly.
So there's another one. Sheila's not there. There's a lot of people who are not there. Now, granted...
Well, Sheila's not in that group, though.
She may not necessarily not support a ceasefire. This may have been who they were able to get.
In a picture at that moment.
Yeah.
That's true,
so
too.
That's, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But for the people who signed on to censure Tlaib, those are the people that you leave no doubt whatsoever where they stand.
Yeah.
They are very clear.
Those 22 Democrats... that needs to be made into a poster and circulating around throughout the entire campaign season, so that anybody in those, these people are they're just not with the democracy. And
look, there are people on that list who have taken $20,000 from AIPAC. I mean, that's still a lot of money.
It isn't about that. They just censured an elected representative for speech.
Yeah.
That I don't care what she was saying.
Wasserman Schultz,
oh my God,
effectively said that if you don't sign on to my pro-Israel bill, you don't have a soul. Those are the exact words that she used, and you'll see it. You'll see that those are the words that Debbie decided was necessary to look. The dividing lines have been set. It is crystal clear what they're doing. They have no qualms about what they're doing. And the biggest thing you can say about what Debbie's, Zionist brigade is doing right now, which is really the big problem here, they don't care if somebody like Rashida Tlaib gets killed. They don't care if she's put in harm's way.
No. Well, no, they don't. No, they don't. But as long as it doesn't come back on them in any way. It's the most infuriating thing to me is that the world is falling apart and our elected people are wasting their time censuring each other like that, and it's just so stupid. It's so, this is one of the somebody needs to be the grown-up in the room with these people. What are we watching? What are we watching?
You'll see.
Okay. I don't think I want to see this.
Behind the scenes, one of which was a comment that was made by Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She is a prominent Jewish Democrat. She was pushing for a resolution that was adopted on a bipartisan basis on the House floor just a couple of weeks ago to reaffirm support for the United States for its war against Israel. I asked her about that resolution and about Democrats who may vote against it, and she had some sharp remarks about those Democrats, which set off an uproar.
Oh,
There's this vote that's going to happen on the Israel-Hamas resolution on the floor. Are you concerned that some Democrats may not support this?
I would hope that all members would support a resolution that condemns terrorism, the brutal attacks that were perpetrated against the Israeli people that were killed. We have 218 hostages. They took 222. Someone who votes against this, I would think, doesn't have a soul.
And that comment sort of prompted outrage among key Democrats, and particularly the 15 who voted against that measure. Some of them, all of them minorities, some of them Muslim Americans, and some of them bringing this directly to the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, who has started to tamp down
like
tensions
he'll
internally, tried to get his members on the same page as this divide has been growing. We're told that one of the members even talked to W. Wasserman Schultz and was concerned that that is a racial trope that would be used, calling someone soulless, something that could be interpreted very negatively among African American members in particular. Wasserman Schultz, we were told, indicated she was not aware of that in which she made that comment here. But Dana, all showing the divide that is just persisting as this war carries on, the debate within the Democratic Party that is now spilling out into public view, but very much a private debate as well.
And
she's just such a piece of work. But I will say this, if there is anything that I believe that she actually is an expert on, it's on the soulless. If there is anybody who is an expert on not having a soul, it's her. So I actually, that's something she is an authority on. So it's interesting that she would say that. And the people on that list, so it's 15 people.
So it's basically everybody that you saw that was holding up the sign.
Right. Well, it's the same people that voted against that ridiculous blood oath to Israel.
Well, I will tell you, one of the people who was on that list, who wasn't on that holding the banner, was Maxwell Frost.
Right. No, I know. He was one of the people that signed the "I won't sign my blood oath to Israel."
So I think
they have no soul.
Well, but here's the thing. This is the great thing about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Do you really want to sign a blood oath to Israel if the spokesperson is that little troll? Because that's what it is. She's just, and I love the fact that they have to point out that she's a prominent Jewish, representative.
First
of all, two things. This is like somebody said. It's like anything. Who gives a damn if she's Jewish? Who gives a damn if you think she's prominent? How about just the congressional representative from South Florida representing the greater Fort Lauderdale area?
They can't do that.
Can't do that?
No.
Why not? Because it's a trigger point. You have to be able to, it's all about divide and conquer. See, the whole point of what corporate media is clicks, like anything else. If this is going to get you clicks, great. Now, we only played this clip because we want you to see the type of blood oath that Wasserman Schultz took from AIPAC. It's pretty serious. So never doubt that corporate special interests, especially the likes of pro-Israel corporate money, is willing to go, and she is ready, willing, and able to throw her own party under the bus because, let's be honest, AIPAC, that is a Republican right-wing organization.
Well, it's pretty equal. It's pretty equal. There's Zionists across both parties.
There are.
But the suggestion that somehow Hakeem Jeffries would help with that, that would somehow take a position on that. If he is not also one of AIPAC's bitches, I don't know who is.
Well, Richie Torres would have something to say about that because, of course, he's one of the biggest too. I stand with Rashida Tlaib because I actually stand for free speech. And you can say whatever the hell you want. And you don't have to like it. And you know what? Just because you're Jewish doesn't make you better than somebody else, despite what Wasserman Schultz would have you believe.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.